పక్కన లూజ్గా ఉన్నట్టుంది అక్కడ. ఇక్కడ వెనుక సరిగ్గానే ఉందా?
Hello. Hmm. Yep. Online people just check once. Is it audible to everyone? Is it clear? Online people just check once. Is it audible? Online. Yes. Okay. Yep. Let's see. Yesterday we designed one example. So we created a weather app and we need to implement transporting data from parent to child in one real world application, right? So two techniques we will see: how to transport using properties, another one by using a context API. So let's run this example. In this example, we designed an weather app, and here we are displaying default city. Now, what should happen in this example? Simple. The parent component have a text box. From there, we will pass data. Data is city name that will be collected and displayed inside the child. So below we have city, temperature, that is a child component. We need to display there. How to transport data from parent to child? Let's see first using props. If the child component is a controlled component, then we can pass data by using props. So let's see. We will go to our child component. Here we are expecting data, weather, main, temperature, null. And it is expecting data coming from parent. Then we have to define props. And props is expecting a city. We will replace that here. Here we need to put a dynamic and props dot what city. Okay. That means now it is empty. There is no data passed. Initially, you can see now it is now empty. There is no data pass. Temporarily, if you want, until they enter some data and submit, you can hide this also. We already know dynamically applying style. We can show hide components also dynamically. We'll see. First, when user enters city name and click on submit, we have to collect the data from that and pass into the child. Let's go to the parent component. This is the parent component. In parent component, we need to collect the city name entered from text box. So what we will do, constant, we are expecting a set city name is equal to use state, city name is empty, string. And I'm expecting city name to be set when user is typing something inside that. So we will use handle. We have a function handle city change. On city change, we will get the target and set city name e dot target dot value. Okay. This will fire up when they are typing the city name in text box. Then here we have to use handle city change. While they are typing, it will get the city name. Directly, we can pass the city name into weather details. You see, weather details is a child component. Directly, we can pass the city name, but not. We want to send city name on search click. So what we will do? We will create another constant city. Set city is equal to use state. This is also empty. We will write a function and the function is handle search click. On search click, what we have to do, set city. Into that, we have to put the city name. The value collected from text box is stored in city. This city we need to send to weather details. Weather details is expecting, it is a child. It is expecting a property called city. And the city comes from city na, right? We have to pass this city and we need to run this on click. On click, handle, search click. Now, one more point is that we will see. So what we are doing here is we are entering the city name and I click on search. Then it has to get that. Why it is not getting? Because the child component is loaded, mounted first time. When it is mounted first time, it doesn't have any city. So it is showing 0, right? Now, when you enter and pass some data into this, it will not mount again. Every component mounts how many times? Only one time. You see, the child component is details. Use effect is mounting. It will mount this and load weather data only first time. Whenever I pass a new city, it should mount again. Then you have to write the dependency now. What is the dependency? Dependency indicates when I have to load weather data again. Tell me, when we have to load weather data again? Whenever the properties changes na. So who is the dependency here? Props. Props is the dependency. That means whenever any property changes, automatically load weather will happen again. And when load weather happens again, this time it will get the city name and use it. Let's see now. Here I will enter the city name and I search here. It should get the 10 display. I am entering a different city name and search. It should get that city and display. You are entering the city name, so it will get that and display. So we can simply access the data from parent to child and display that. We can do that while typing also, but we don't want. We want only on search click. While typing means you collect the city name and directly pass. While they are changing, on change itself, you can pass. So here, what is the purpose of dependency? You understood? If dependency is not defined, load weather will load only once because every component loads only once. Now we want that to load again whenever there is a change in the property. Remember, currently you said props means any property changes, it will work. Suppose you want only one specific property, you can mention the property name also like this, dot city. That means that component may have so many properties, but on every change of every property, it will not load. It will load only when city changes. Currently, we don't need this because we have only one property. Directly just mention the props. If you don't mention the dependency, then it is not going to work here. See, you entered something. So, and you click on search, it's not updating. But actually data is passed. Data is passed, data is collected, but it is not showing. So we need to set the dependency as what? Props. Then you search, it should get the 10 display. I will enter here and it is going to get the 10 display. Until you click the search button, if you want, you can hide this area. That's all. Rest your brain and your logic. So all the common sense of web designing will come when you want to implement lot of functionalities. That means I don't want to show this until they enter city. Then what you will do? Tell me. This this area, this area where weather details is displayed, it should not show that area until or unless they enter some city. Then, so that means what we have to do here, we can put some settings like constant toggle display, am I right? Or toggle details. Set toggle details is equal to use state. I'm using a class called dnone. Am I right? So this toggle details class we will apply here. I will put a dynamic, and already one class is M4 margin top 4. Another class we will bind here. It is coming from toggle details. Toggle details is dnone. Dnone means display none. So it will not show. When it should display again? So on search click, what we have to do? On search click, set toggle details as D block. D block is what? Display block. That means you entered the city name here. You entered the city name and you click on search. It should get that and show. These are all not something we will tell who somebody will tell you and you will implement. These are all common sense, right? If you know web designing, you have to think how to show, how to hide, how to display in various occasions. That's not something somebody will teach you, because like this, so many requirements client may ask. They may say that I want this to come from float from right side, float from left side. Then you all need to give effects animation. This is one technique of transporting data from parent to child. And this time we are using what? Props. So if child is not a controlled component, if it is not a controlled component means it is not expecting properties, then how do we transport data? Let's see. First, I will give this example. So let's copy this example first. Okay. So in this example, this is example of transporting data from parent to child using props. That's the example I'm giving. And in this, we have components. One file is components. In that, we have weather app. In that, two files I designed, weather app.jsx. This is actually parent. This is weather app JSX code. Okay. Next, in the same, we are having weather details. Okay, so here I'm adding another one. The second one is in component, same weather app. Here we have weather details. This is child component. So that is the child component. I will copy this one. Okay. So this is example of properties. How to transport data from parent and to the child. Using props we are doing. Let's remove these props. We will see another technique. How we can transport using context. Let's clean up the weather details. Here there is no props. Here there is no prop city. temporarily I will just put some city, and here dependency is not props. I will clean up the dependency. Fine. Next, in parent, we are not sending the details through the city. It's empty. Huh? We are not sending details. So now your component is again normal. Even you entered some Delhi or something, it will display only Hyderabad because it is having a fixed one. We need to change. So this time we need to transport data from parent to child using context. If properties can transport, why we need context? We need context because if child is an uncontrolled component, if it is uncontrolled component, it is not expecting anything from you. So it is independent, absolute individual. Then you have to pass through context. Or another situation, if the child is not a direct child, it is some nested child, then we cannot transport using props. Okay. So let's see how we use context. First point, we need to create context in the parent app. In the parent component, we have to create context. So globally, I am creating weather context or city context is equal to what is it? Create context. Default, it is what? Null. We are first creating context. And from 19 of React version onwards, context name must be in Pascal case. Every word first letter must be caps. Okay. But this context we have to import in another location. So make sure that it is export. Am I right? Otherwise you cannot import because a variable, even you written global, it is accessible only in this module. Every JSX file is a module and it is accessible only in this module. I written globally, but it is available globally inside this module. If you want to access outside the module, you have to export. Okay. After that, we need to pass the data into this context. I told you that context needs a scope. Na? Okay, let's go. This is the context scope where child should work. So what we have to do here, we have to use city context, weather details, and context needs some data. Data is value. Na? What is the data we need to pass? We need to pass city name. That means into that we will pass the city name. City name or city? City. We'll pass the city. City name means while collecting from the text box. After collecting on search click, we are storing in the city. So we will send the city as a context. Now in this child, we can collect the context and use it. Right? We have to collect the context and use in the child. Okay, let's go into the child. How to use the context here? First, we have to import the context. What is the context? City context. We have to import city context. City context is declared and it is exported. After that, here we need to create a context memory. Simply, what is it? LED context is equal to use context. Which context it should use? So context contains city name. That city name we have to pass here na. Here we have to get the city name from where? Context. That's it. Through context, we are transporting the data without properties. And who is the dependency this time? Dependency this time is context. Whenever context changes, it should load again. Okay. Now see, here it is empty. You entered the city name and search, it should get the 10 show. Same thing is working here, and you click on that, it will get the 10 display. So the city name, so and search, it will get the 10 display. So we are transporting data from parent to child by using context. So when to use props and when to use context is a regular question, and you have an answer for that, right? Yeah. I will show another example also, but one more technique we need to learn. So let's keep second example. So this time, this is an example transporting data from parent to child using context. In the components, this is first one. This is parent. Let me copy the parent code. Whether app is parent. Okay. Next, child. Let's copy the child. This is second one. Same example, but code changes. Okay. Here I will copy the new code of child. This is details. Okay. This time the dependency is context. Previously the dependency was props, right? Yeah. This is example of transporting data from parent to child, and I showed one real world example. We will design one more complex one. Now challenging is transporting data from child to parent. There is no option for that, and it's not possible by default. Why? Because you learnt already in JavaScript function have a closure. What is closure? Function closure is a mechanism where the members of parent function, outer function are accessible to inner, but the members of inner are not accessible to outer. And in JavaScript, in a closure to access the members outside, we use return values, store the return value of function and implement. Here, how to do that? That's the major thing. So here, another important question is how to transport data from child to parent component. How to transport data from child to parent component. There are so many techniques, so depends on situation. Here one I will show you. So you can use various global state management techniques. Various global state management techniques for storing data globally and access from any component. So if you want to transport data from child to parent without explicit state management, then you can use custom events. Then you can use custom events. If you want to transport without global state management you will see later. For that, we will learn some libraries called Redux store. So Redux is a third party library through which you can transport data from child to parent or anywhere you can transport. It provides global state. Without global state, external state managements, if you want to transport data, then we can use custom event. What is the concept of this custom event is, I will just explain a process here. For example, here we are having a parent component. This is a parent component. And we are having a child component. So we are having a child. This is child component. Now what is the concept is, from parent directly data flows into child. There is no problem. But from child, we need to transport data to parent. That means in the child component, you need a trigger. You need a trigger. In the child component, you need a trigger. What this trigger can do is, for example, just like what is the purpose of trigger? Suppose we have satellite. Satellite need to be launched into orbit. Then we use a rocket. Am I right? So what is the purpose of rocket? Uh, Purpose of rocket. What is purpose of rocket? To send to space. Huh? Huh? It is used to set a satellite into orbit. Right? You should speak little bit like technical people, na? Right? Because little bit educated people means you cannot talk like general people, right? That means it is used to put into orbit. Why you need a rocket to put into orbit? If you throw, what will happen? It will come and fall on you again, right? That is what happening in React also. That means the child have some data and it tries to throw, it will come back again. It will not go. We need to push it in such a way that it goes out of the orbit of child. That means what we need to do is we need to transport this information outside child means you need a explicit trigger. This trigger, what it will do is, suppose you have some data. What the trigger is going to do is, this trigger is going to, it is going to throw this outside this scope. Generally, the scope is locked in such a way, just like gravitational. Any data can't go outside. This data can be anywhere inside the child, but it cannot go outside. You need a trigger. This trigger will throw this outside. Then parent can catch it. Parent can catch it. Parent can use it. Right? That's what generally we do. That means, for example, we have this trigger. What is this trigger? Trigger is nothing but it is an event. That means you need one event for this component. And what that event will do is it will throw this outside the scope. Then in the parent, you can catch this and you can use it. You can use it. This trigger is called custom event. That means our child component needs one custom event, our own event. You have button, click, change, blur, like that you can create your own events. You create your own component in the same way you can create your own events. And through that event, you can transport the data. Let's see how. So that means the target is sending data from child to parent. It is not possible through props. It is not possible through pops. And it is not possible through context also. Context also cannot do. Because what is point about context? The context of parent is available to child, na? But the child context is available to its child. Its child. It is not available to parent. And you need this trigger to push this out of the boundary. Let's see how we can do that. So how we can transport data and how we can write custom events. Let's see. I will design here another component. So transport demo. Okay. So I will add here transport demo.jsx. Okay. So export function parent component. Uh, yeah, parent component. And it will return a simple div. And let's keep this as parent. This is the parent component. Now I will add one more component here only. Export function child component. We have a child component. We can write here or we can write in any another separate file. For just clarity's sake, I'm writing in same, right? You can write in another file also if you want. Let's do one thing. This is parent and in that I will use child component.jsx. So export function child component and return. This is the div and it is child component. Okay, let's put parent component and child component. Here we will add the child. We are getting the child component and showing inside parent. So class container fluid. So BG danger padding 4. Like this we are adding. Okay. Now let's put in the startup. Second. So we are keeping in the startup. In main.jsx, we are adding which one in the startup parent. Parent component is in the start. Okay. Now this is the parent component. And let's go in the parent component. We will have text white. Okay. Let's go to child component. Padding 4 BG warning. Okay. So this is child component. Now in the child component, we have some data we need to send to parent. You may ask like in reality where we need this. It's very common. If you have seen, we created shopping app. In the shopping app, I will show you that implementation first after understanding this. In shopping app, you saw a cart button at the top in the header. Na? right? We created a shopping app in the cart. So in reality means we need to keep this, which one? Fake store, huh? Fake store. We designed this, na? Now in this fake store, the parent component is having a navbar at the top and there is a cart button, na? So that means now actually this is the child component. This is the child component. In child component, you click add to cart button, then this product must be sent to here. It should show how many products are in the cart. Am I right? That means we need to push the data from child to parent. And wherever in parent they enter the something and that will come here now. So both mechanisms will work here. Parent to child and child to parent. That means we need to transport this data from child component to parent. We designed this already, yeah? Right? If you people are not regularly attending, then it will be like Christopher Nolan movie. You know, Christopher Nolan, very famous Hollywood director, right? Interstellar, Inception, Oppenheimer, right? When you watch his movies on IMAX screen, because he takes only for IMAX screen, and you will clap, whistle for every scene. You will be very excited. After movie is completed, you will ask your friend what is story, because his stories you can't understand. His logics you can't understand. You watched Interstellar, you don't know the story. Seriously, you know Inception, Tenant, right? Christopher Nolan is the director for that. Inception, Tenant. You can't understand his stories because he is so genius. I'm not saying I am Christopher Nolan. I'm saying that the movie, the class will be like that. Regularly, you are not attending, rarely, you are giving guest appearance like a chief guest. Then what will happen? You can't understand anything happening because this all we learnt, right? Because I regularly see some guests in our class, regularly we notice some guests. Only the point is we don't have time to honor those guests. That's the reason we just leave them. We don't care about them, right? So such guests, this class will not suit because if you are not following all the concepts, even practically also, you can't handle this, right? It looks attractive, effective, but you can't manage. For that, you need sequentially following everything, right? So this already we designed, we will implement here now. Okay. So let's see the concept, how to handle this. So let's go to the component. Our component is parent. Okay. Now the question is from child, how you send data to parent. I told you that child needs one trigger. Na? So in child component, I will put one button, drop down, anything you can give. I will put a button send data to parent. We have a button send data to parent btn light. Okay. And this is send data to parent. When I click this button, it should send some information to the parent. That means remember, these components need one event. We need a event for this component. How to design our own events? Generally on click, on change are ready-made events. We need our own event. How a component can have event? Component can have props. How you define props? By using props. Na? If you want events, then you have to define an object. you have to define an object, and that object will have event names. Event names, your own names. I will give an event name on child click. That is the event name. That is my own name. You can give any name, but traditionally events will be in camel case. So I am giving on child click. On child click, there is no such event in JavaScript or React. This is our own event. Now observe carefully. Whenever I am using this child component, you observe child component can have props, and see, interestingly, it is having event on child click. Just like on click, on change, we have our own events. We have our own events. That means now it is having an event on child. Now through this event, we can send the data. First, what we will do is we will configure the event. This event can send the data, but how it can send the data roughly, here I will put here, I'll put a constant, some not required, just I'll get a function handle click. On handle click, we will put some data is equal to hello from child. As I told you, later I will show you real-time example. Okay, now this data must be sent to parent through child event. Na? What is the child event name? On child click, we will send the data. And this should work on click. Am I right? On button click, it has to handle click. So when you click the button, a default event will fire up. This will execute the custom event. Understood? On click is the built-in event. On child click is a custom event. It will fire up the custom event and it will send the data. And remember, whatever data sent through event, we can access through event argument ENA. That means now let's go to the parent. So we will go to the parent component. In parent component, here we have to collect the data. Actually, data will come here automatically. So you need one function. So the function is handle child component click. Am I right? And this function will fire up when on child click, handle child component click. Am I right? Now, do you know this on child click is your own event? Na? That event is having a data called hello. Right? Now that data will be passed into which event? Handle child component click. So you have to collect that here, E. Am I right? Through E, you can collect the data, and that data you can store locally in parent. Locally in parent, you can store the data. Suppose I will create a constant message as what? Set message is equal to use state, and it is an empty string, right? So I will say waiting from child, waiting for data from child. Am I right? And I will put that message in the parent here. I will put here MSG. Am I right? Now what should happen on set MSG? It should get just E na. Remember, E contains custom data, our own data. That's it. You see, it is saying waiting for data from child, and I click the parent button, it will get the data. That means now data is transported from the child to parent. And this is the way how you do that. We write our own events. Through the events, we push the data outside the scope. We collect that in the parent and we will use it. So there is another technique. We can declare global memory, but global memory is not safe every time. If you declare a global memory and put the data, you can access from anybody, but global is accessible to everyone. If you want restricted only to that particular parent, then this is the way. And this is almost every experience interview question. That means almost every experience interviewer means in interviews, every experience for every experienced person, this question is compulsory. They ask so many questions related to data transportation between components, and this is very major. How data is sent from child to parent. Now let's implement this in an example of real time so that we can have a more clarity on this, right? I will show you this one. So first I will give the process, how it is possible. First point is you have to design a child component with custom event. Design a child component with custom event. Custom events are configured as parameters, and events are object type. You can configure multiple events with key references. You can configure multiple events with key references. Syntactically, child component will have an custom event name. So custom event of child component can store data. Custom event of child component can store data, which can be any type data. So primitive, non-primitive, any type data. That means here just I will define any, and we have custom event name, and we will pass the data into that. So custom event of child component can store any data. So data is transported using a trigger, which can be any of default synthetic events. Data is transported using a trigger, which can be any of the default synthetic events. Click, change, blur, focus, anything. So we have a function like handle button click something. This is a general event. This will have custom event and the data. So parent component can access the child event. Parent component can access the child event data using event binding technique. Parent component can access the child event data using event binding technique. So actually data is defined as event argument. Data is defined as event argument. So inside the parent, so here I will just give child component will have custom event name is equal to parent handler. Now what parent handler can do? Can collect the event. So what E contains? Data from child. E contains data from child. It contains data from child. So this is the entire process of transporting data. So example, so we have two options, parent component .jsx and child component .jsx. Parent component JSX code will be this one. Child component .jsx code will be this one. This is the child component related data. Okay. So we have two options learnt: how to design a weather app and how to handle the transportation of data. Is it clear to everyone? Now we have to implement this in a real world example. Means parent to child, child to parent in one real world example. That means like this shopping app we created. But actually, when we designed this shopping app, we created everything in one place, fake store. Yeah. When we designed this shopping app, I created everything in one place. But now we need to divide cleanly. That means parent component will have a header, and inside the parent, these details will come from child. And from parent, we can pass data to child. It will filter and show them. From child, we will add data to the parent. It will add and display there. We must able to design this complete functionality. That means when I enter shopping something like so electronics and search, and on this it should show only electronic details. And when I click on add to cart, it should send the data to the parent. And when I click on this cart, it should show what are the items in the cart. And it's not one component, so many. Left side also same. You select any component, it should able to filter the data. Now remember here, this is a child component, and this is the parent area. Am I right? Right? From here we need to effect. From here we need to effect. And this must be sent into the parent. This entire recreated, we need to recreate this with different structure. Previously, what we done is we created this as one component only. Yeah? Let's go to fix store. Yeah, we created only one component. Everything is designed in one screen. I showed everything designed in one screen, but in reality, it will not be like this. In reality, we will have parent, child, separate component wise. We need to design. That we'll see next session. Today, this is enough. Huh? First, you have to practice this. You try designing the weather app. I will give you one task. What is the task is extra. In weather app, I showed only temperature. Na? So in weather app, you design other details also. Other details also like this. You try to design this type of screen. This type of screen, visibility, pressure, UV, wind speed, because you saw in the data they have wind speed also. You must able to create humidity is also there. In the data, you have that humidity also, na? Open weather map. Here we are having, I think it is in docs. Huh? In the documents, it is having that. You can see in the data, they are displaying visibility, humidity, pressure, everything is there. Visibility, they are showing the values now, wind speed. You remembered I told you about string formatting, KMPH, how to show to local string and all, am I right? You need to put that and you should able to display all these details like this. Can you, of course, you will not get Sunday, Monday, other dates because you are using a free service, their only current temperature will come. You don't design this part. Here, how much you have to create is, so you must able to create up to this part. You must able to create up to this area here, am I right? Which already I done, and rest of this area you have to create. This all details are available in free weather. Only these details are not available in free weather. Because free weather, they will not give you details of next 4 days or 5 days. They will give you all other details. Can you try like this? Right? Icons, colors, design. Can you try like that? Try and post in the lab group. We have a lab group. Huh? I will post one lab group. I will create one lab group and I will share a lab group. Today in the classroom, I will share. Means I will post the link. Join that lab group and there you can upload your example. Okay, so that I can check what you have done. Okay, then tomorrow, Monday, we will continue. So on Monday session, we will discuss about other concept. That means we will see one real world example. Monday, we will continue. Okay, right.